welcome to another episode of Talking Shop, an SFX podcast. I am Kim Lawning, and here again with our Chief Academic Officer.
It's Andy Schoneberg.
Andy Schoneberg. And today we are giving the people what they want and talking about The Walking Dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, at least season 1 of The Walking Dead. So season 1 was only 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were on set, but were you part of the build at KMB, getting in pre-production for it?
Well, as much as we did, I think we repurposed a lot of molds that we had of other zombies or injury prosthetics. First of all, nobody expected it to go to a second season, really, I think, except maybe Frank Darabont, who had the vision. Well, what we did was we went there with Frank Darabont, and he sort of set up the whole tone for everything. 6 episodes. And we thought, well, this will be fun, but nobody's going to watch a zombie TV show.
Yeah.
And we were surprised to find that they did, and they were rabid fans, and they loved it. We went on. We did 6 episodes the first season, 10 the second season, and 13 for all the subsequent seasons after that. They may have gone up to 16. I'm not sure. Yeah, so we started off with those, and we did a lot of makeup that were 3D transfers, and we mostly stayed away from foam latex at that point because it just, the apocalypse started off gently, as it were, with, like there's one scene in the first episode with a zombie walking down the street toward Andrew Lincoln. He's sitting on the steps of his house. And he can't tell if it's a zombie or not.
Yeah.
And the guy's probably 100 feet away from him. And he comes in and starts to go for the kill, and that's when he gets a shovel in the face.
Watching the first season, you can see there's still the light touches of makeup on some versus more intense zombies. I believe it's the one that was highlighted for your Emmy win for this, Bicycle Girl.
The Bicycle Girl, yeah. That was the one that won the first Emmy.
How was the feeling of winning your first Emmy for the show?
I felt that all of us who were on the ticket really worked hard on the show to make the work great. Yeah. And I had always thought if I got nominated for something, I wouldn't want it to be something that I had been an incidental player, and I wanted it to be something that I contributed a lot and felt like I had really earned it.
Yeah.
And I did for that one. The Bicycle Girl was such an iconic makeup. And that was fun because all of us in the trailer worked on it. Garrett wasn't comfortable designing the paint job. He said, you design the paint job. So I sort of figured that out on the facial prosthetic. And I did the front, Garrett did the back. With the Bicycle Girl, when we got to set that morning, we were all set to go to the park. I can't remember the name of the park, Grants Park or something in Atlanta. And we were going to dig trenches for her to lay in to hide her legs. And then she would just drag herself along the ground. Yeah. She'd have one prosthetic on for when she was on her stomach and a different prosthetic on when she was on her back. And Frank said, oh, no, we can't dig in the park.
Oh, no.
So she's got to be above ground the whole time. And we're like, oh. He says, and I'd like her to be covered either way so that we're not waiting for makeup to alter the thing. So we had to real quickly hog out the appliances so that they would fit her front and back. So Garrett did all of that. Garrett he engineered the makeup and sort of directed all of us as to what was going on, how he had envisioned it. And Greg and Jake did the arms. I mean, everybody did a little of everything, so it's kind of hard to...
All hands on deck.
Yeah, divide who did what to when. Garrett and I also did a makeup on the little girl, the first zombie that you see.
Yeah.
Garrett, that was his makeup, and he just called me in to do her arms and legs and a couple of other things. But that was a fun makeup to do, and it's kind of neat that it's the first makeup you see in the show.
Yeah.
And she was carrying a teddy bear which you would never see a walker do in subsequent episodes. They don't carry things.
Well, that's where I was going to say there's a lot of things that happen in season 1 with the walkers doing that they don't do later on.
I think it was episode 2 for the first season that there was a stunt guy who insisted on having a rock in his hand to break the window of the department store.
Yep.
And we nixed that. We didn't want him to do that as it was, but there wasn't another easy way to have the zombies break the window at the department store.
Yeah.
Because we didn't feel that just pounding on it with their hands was enough.
Yeah.
So we allowed that. But it's amazing the number of people who pick up on that and go, hey, they can't use that.
Oh, yeah. No, I was, because again, preparing for this episode, I was like watching like a bunch of like YouTube videos because, again, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen the season. And people keep pointing out, they freeze frame and they circle the rock. And they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
But you guys were just figuring things out and seeing where, because at that time you guys didn't know it was going to continue. So who knows?
But the walkers could also run in those early episodes. And they
climb
slowed
a
way
fence.
down. Yeah, and climb a fence. There were fun things like there's a walker who gets off a bus. And he's he got dark hair and he's very gaunt, as walkers are. He's wearing a suit. And he just kind of walks into frame and he turns and walks his way out. That's a guy who worked at K&B. His name is Joe. And Joe played a walker in the show on a number of occasions because we did a test makeup on him in L.A. And Frank loved it.
Oh, cool.
So he personally asked Joe if he would come down and be in the show, the first episode. So he's downtown Atlanta just walking off a bus.
And I feel like there's maybe I'm just seeing things and wanting to recognize people, but I'm I feel like there's a lot of cameos of people as zombies.
Gino Crognoli played a number of walkers, and that was the challenge because Gino has a very distinctive look. And fortunately, he has pretty much a shaved head, so we could do anything for hair on him.
Yeah.
And that helped. But it's just, when you're working with the same proportions and that same distinctive physiognomy, it's hard to disguise them when you're doing your 13th walker on them.
I know, well, spoiler, you were a walker.
And I was.
Season 3?
What season was Michonne introduced?
That's what I'm trying to remember, because I know it's on Michonne's introduction.
Yeah, it's when Michonne saves Andrea from, she's being attacked by walkers, and the one that's doing most of the attacking is me.
Obviously, when there's just one featured zombie, it's easy for everyone to kind of come together. What were some of the days like when you had the hordes of zombies?
That was something. I mean, we got more adept at it as we went, but we had...
Because season 1, you're just let's figure this thing out.
We had a couple of days shooting downtown. We had to shoot downtown on the weekends because that's when all the businesses were closed and there wasn't as much traffic. We shot in downtown Atlanta, I think 2 nights on different weekends. And we had 300 extras.
Wow.
Yeah.
That all need to get at least some level of zombification.
Yeah, I think that it was kind of run fast and loose a little at first episode because we wanted to be flexible and be able to give Frank what he wanted. And he wanted a lot, that's the way it is,
Yeah.
So
he had a vision for the show, and clearly it continues to this day, or
so
in some iteration. So
we had, I think, 36 makeup artists on the show for those nights, and we pumped out a bunch of zombies each, and it got down to where they needed them on set, and we were just doing color makeups for some of it. And that means you can't get too precious with some of them. If they're in the background, you get them done as best you can. You send them out of the trailer, then you go on set and fix things there.
Do some last-minute touch-ups and stuff. Yeah. This isn't The Walking Dead, but I will always remember this story from when I was doing zombies on set, because we did the extras teeth. She was just in the background. Not that big a deal. She kept coming back to the makeup room to get her teeth redone, and because we use alcohol paints to paint the teeth. And she's like, wait, would alcohol take these off? And we're like, yeah. That's what happened. And so she was just all day, I don't know if she had a flask or something, and just kept drinking all day, and so it kept taking off all of her teeth.
We found that barbecue sauce took the paint off too.
Oh, good to know. Oh, you got that Southern barbecue when you're in Atlanta.
We did. I mean, that was some of the times that the zombies were feasting on whatever. Mm-hmm. We made it pulled pork barbecue, which they loved.
Yeah.
And the barbecue sauce, the vinegar in the barbecue sauce would take all the color off their teeth. So we had to tell the guys who were getting the barbecue, the props guys, we said, make sure the sauce has no vinegar in it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it was a good barbecue sauce. How disappointing. Gotta have a good, like, that vinegar tang in a barbecue sauce. Yeah. That's actually really interesting because, like, obviously the hordes, there's a lot of other violence, not just like zombie violence, but there's like, or I mean, it is zombie violence too, but a lot of injuries and a lot of guts and stuff like that. What was your guys' approach to like some of those like injury makeups and?
We had to be pretty fast at doing just about anything. Kevin Wasner was on the show for pretty much the whole run, and he's a master at turning out stuff that looks incredible very quickly. And Garrett does a great job of that too, where it's just you give them 5 minutes and go, you got 5 minutes to build this. And they go, that's okay. And they build something, they bring it out to set, and you're like, did you have this in a cupboard somewhere? How did you do that so fast?
That's interesting. Actually, that doesn't surprise me about Kevin Wasner because I know in his In the Chair interview with us, he talked about Hostel. I think it was either Hostel or Hostel 2, where they had to make it where like the muscles of the leg were coming off. Yeah. And he made that out of prosciutto. Yeah. And so the person could eat, and they were just eating prosciutto, but it looked like he sculpted it so it was like the muscle structure of a real leg. So, it's good to have, again, like kind of that shop mentality on set so you can kind of start whipping these things out.
I had first met Kevin on House of Wax, which was the first show that I did for K&P. I was down in Australia, never been there before, driving on the other side of the road and all of that stuff. I was a little bit losing my mind there because so much stuff that we built wasn't built the way it needed to be. This director wanted to shoot everything in an extreme close-up, all the effects. And some effect stuff is not meant to be seen that way. Yeah. So it was, there was a lot of sort of fine-tuning things and adjusting. And, you know, you go and you say, this is how this works, and it comes from this angle, and then they shoot it from the other angle. And it was everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong loudly. We redesigned the reveal makeup at the end for the killer a couple of times on the shoot. Built a few things that needed to be better than what we had made them.
Back to The Walking Dead. I know there's a lot of dead bodies, just kind of especially in the beginning to kind of show like the established how far gone the apocalypse has been, even just in this short amount of time. So there's like dead bodies everywhere, some that aren't going to be reanimated. And then of course there's like the featured ones, but what did you guys make those bodies out of? Did you already have existing bodies, or did you just kind of like throw some things since they're not going to be featured and it's just meant to fill the scene?
Right. I think in the first season it was a combo season. We had some bodies that we intended to be featured that were done fresh. And K&B is a shop that's been in business for 30 plus years at this point. They have their method of building the skeletons for bodies, not flesh and bone skeletons, but the metal armatures, posable armatures for bodies. They've got their method, and if you say to their fabrication department, we need 15 bodies, they'll start by going to the machine shop and getting all 15 sets of armature parts, and then the molds get put out and the pieces get laid up in them, and they pump out the 15 bodies pretty quickly. Nice. So there was some of that. There was some existing bodies, which every good shop has an existing stock of bodies. So they pirated all of those and took them to set and made adjustments to them as needed for zombie damage on them and all of that. It was a big build, but it was a big, quick build.
Back to the horse, like, so you're pulling out all of these bits and stuff. What do you guys make all of those bits out of?
A lot of that stuff was made from silicone. Another Wasner method is, you catalyze the silicone and thicken it up to a degree that it'll be somewhat sculptable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a sheet of plastic dry cleaner bag.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin was very specific about that. It's got to be that real thin plastic like dry cleaner bags are. And you would lay that out flat and then put big logs of silicone down
Mm-hmm.
on the plastic and then roll it up on itself and twist it and make it look internal organ-ish.
All gooey.
You could make bigger shapes, and that would be like a liver,
Mm-hmm.
or a slightly smaller shape would be a stomach. You would have hearts that I think we had a mold for a heart. And then the large and small intestines and all of that stuff.
Yeah. How do you guys manage? I mean, this wouldn't have been like necessarily your department. It would have been like the department heads and stuff. But how did you guys manage like the budget on a new show? So probably didn't have the biggest budget, but there was still asking for so much.
It's a good question, and it's something that happens on pretty much any film or project that you take on as a studio. They're always looking for the moon, and they want to pay the reflection of the moon in prices.
Yeah.
But so that's something that just is the way that the owners and managers of the shop respond to the demands of the build, the average build.
Mm-hmm.
You figure out a way to do all that stuff so that it's either mass produced in a way that's cost effective, or you reuse stuff in a way that is artistically effective.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. So it's just balancing all of that stuff. But artistically, we started with people in makeup who were not tremendously turned yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The apocalypse started while Rick Grimes was passed out in his hospital bed in a coma, and he wakes up from the coma and there's all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
We figured it had been maybe, he couldn't have been in there terribly long because...
I think it's a month or something.
Yeah, we figured
so.
It was somewhere around there, a month or not 2, because that's too long.
Yeah.
We figured maybe 4 weeks or 5 weeks would be the longest that things had been going. So we sort of based our makeups on that, that these were reanimated people who'd been alive at a maximum, or walkers at a maximum of 4 or 5 weeks. So we based the rot and the injuries on that thought. And then as the apocalypse went on, each season the mandate from Greg was to make the zombies more zombified, more damaged, more mummified.
So how many people were in the makeup department for season 1 at least? Because were you guys also, because the beauty makeups need to happen. I mean, they were very minimal and everything like that. Did you have separate artists, or did you guys just do everything?
We did all the walker makeups. The rest of the cast was done by Donna Premick.
When you guys shot those first 6 episodes, because I believe, again, I was reading an article that they were shot in the spring, or was it just the pilot that was shot in the spring and then you came back, or how did that kind of shooting schedule go before it premiered in, because I believe it premiered on Halloween.
That's
in
right.
2010.
That's right.
15 years ago.
Yeah. Ay.
Yeah, jeez.
The pilot took a little longer than the other episodes because it was shot more like a movie.
And to be fair, I rewatched, I rewatched parts of the whole first season because I haven't seen the first season in a while, but I watched the full first episode again. And yeah, it feels like a movie. It feels like almost like kind of like 28 Days Later kind of vibe.
Yeah. And it was, it felt like a movie when we were shooting it. I think we spent 2 weeks on the pilot, and then we went to what became the regular shooting schedule of 8 days for an episode. And that turned out to be pretty good, although the pace was pretty frantic at times. We had other makeup artists from LA who came out to lend a hand on certain heavy weeks, and they'd get through the 3 days or the 5 days that it was for their time there. And as they were leaving to go to the airport and catch their flight, they go, I don't know how you guys do this every week. He said, you just have to get into the mindset. Some weeks are 90 hours long. And or 90 weeks. We had regular weekends and all of that.
Okay.
So it was work 5 days, off 2 days, work 5 days, off 2 days.
I know that you started your cheese while you were on The Walking Dead. Was that happened yet on season 1, or was that later on?
No, that was later on. I had my different things that I would choose each season to sort of try something new, to learn something new in my off hours, because I thought I'm not going to spend my off hours just sitting in my apartment drinking.
Yeah.
So one year it was cheese. And
do you remember what it was for season 1?
Season one, I was downtown Atlanta. That was the only season that we stayed in accommodations in Atlanta. So I spent a lot of time. I had worked in Atlanta before on a couple of shows for Steve Johnson and Rick Lazzarini, and loved it there. So I spent most of my the 6 episodes there just wandering around Atlanta and finding cool restaurants. I'd find a restaurant that I thought was great, and I'd tell the guys, and then we'd all go there for dinner, and et cetera. So that was my cultural whatever, explorations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I spent 3 years of my time back in LA painting a replica of the Mona Lisa. And so that was where my focus was researching. And when I was in Atlanta, I was researching painting techniques and materials and methods of Leonardo da Vinci, what they knew about his process at the time. And they know so much more now.
Do you feel like you have to redo your Mona Lisa now?
Oh,
that you know more?
I've got one going.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember, because I was back in my big, comic convention days, and, when The Walking Dead came out, or at least, the San Diego Comic-Con 2011, so this was the year after The Walking Dead, they had so many, it was such a huge presence, and, everyone was just really became obsessed with zombies, because zombies have been around for forever.
Yeah.
But especially kind of in the 2010s, I'm not saying it's necessarily because of The Walking Dead, but it kind of really was a part of that era of when there was so many zombie movies and shows and games and everything that was coming out.
Yeah.
Did you guys pull inspiration from any of the zombies in the past?
We did, with some regularity, every season, at least one tribute walker, we called them. So you'll see various walkers in the episode that are from classic zombie horror films. Greg's a big movie nut, and a zombie movie nut in particular. So he came in one day and he wanted Garrett to do a take on the helicopter zombie from Dawn of the Dead, I think it was.
Yeah.
We started going season by season and just seeing if the fans caught them.
Pointed just little Easter eggs for the fans.
Yeah.
That's fun, because I as a fan, I think it's it's fun to see those little things, and I think it's great when you can really show appreciation to where the art was before. I talk to the students here a lot about understanding makeup history, understanding who came before you and where it started and why things changed.
Sure.
So it's really fun to see kind of the evolution and pay homage to essentially where you came from. When you guys wrapped up that first season, did you think you were like, oh, that's it, that was fun?
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. It was funny because the first season, everybody else had shows to jet off to. They knew that it was going to be this many days, and I don't think we went over it all. And we had our stuff in a warehouse that they had used as a production office. Kevin Wasner and I did most of the shuffling stuff around and all of that. So Jake had a film to go off to practically the night we wrapped.
Yeah.
He was out of there quickly. Greg went back to LA to get things going in the shop, and Kevin and I were left to clean everything up and clean out the trailer and all of that stuff. Yeah, so it was a quick wrap out, and production kept the stuff there that we wanted them to keep there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the bodies and some stuff, so that we didn't have to ship stuff back if the show got picked up for a second season.
Mm-hmm. How soon did you guys find out that there was going to be a second season of The Walking Dead?
Almost immediately after the first episode.
Really? Okay, good.
And
nice.
the show got such good numbers, better than what they'd anticipated, much better than what they'd anticipated.
Mm-hmm. And then you stayed on for the first 5 seasons?
I was on set for the first 5 seasons, every episode. And I was very prideful at the time and said, I'm the only makeup artist on this show, and it was true, who worked every episode of the first 5 seasons.
Wow.
Wozner ended up having a great record on there. He worked every episode or every season from 1 to 12.
Oh, wow.
He was there the whole time. Jake was there pretty much the whole time, although Jake had the first half of season 3. He was on a different show, a Tarantino film. And
do you have any like memories from the first season? How did it feel on set, like even with the actors? Because excuse me, because even at the time, a lot of the actors weren't big actors, so they were just coming onto this project doing a fun little zombie show, which then made them household names eventually.
The show was great to work on because the actors were very cool, and the person who set the tone for everything was Andy Lincoln. And he is such a great guy and such a nice person. The actors were all kind of cool. There was one time that I think it was a director came in and was very Hollywood. All right, I gotta tell you what we're going to do. We're going to shoot this like this, blah, blah, blah. And Andy Lincoln just went up to him and went, we don't run our set like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guy sort of mellowed out a little bit, and we all had a great time.
Good.
So yeah, it was the set was just run like that. All the department heads were really cool.
That's good, especially since I'm sure there was a lot of stress, like just pumping out all those zombies and getting everything going. Yeah. That it's good where like if you have too much ego involved in a situation like that, it can lead to a lot of explosive moments.
Yeah, well, and I've certainly been on sets that were the opposite of that. I learned a lot on the show. We had an hour and a half to do makeups with prosthetics and 20 minutes to do a paint makeup. So it was fast and furious. You'd get these things just blasting out of there.
I'm sure using the 3D transfers helped a lot with that time with doing prosthetics. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because Greg would come in the trailer, you'd be just about finished with the makeup, and Greg would come in the trailer and go, I don't like it. You're like, what don't you like?
Yeah.
I don't know, it just doesn't look like a zombie to me. You go, okay. So we'd spend some time fussing with it and pushing it into directions that Greg wanted it to go, which was great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because Greg went on to direct a lot of the rest of the seasons, right?
Yeah, Greg had it in his contract to be the second unit director for the first season.
Oh, nice.
And season 2 started up, and they promoted him to being a producer, executive producer. Not executive producer at first, but he ended up being an executive producer on the show and directing. I think he directed the season opener and the season closer for each season.
How's it like working with a producer or director that actually understands makeup effects?
Greg is great on set. He's so excellent as a director. He's very considerate of the departments and the time it takes to do things, but he's firm about it. He's really fantastic. And he has great ideas for camera moves and that kind of stuff. He talks to the DP a lot, and they figure stuff out for cool shots and all of that stuff, the storytelling and all of that stuff that he's trying to get across. He did a great job of it. So I'll give you an example. I worked on Fear the Walking Dead first season. I ran the makeup department in Vancouver. And we were shooting this woman who was wearing a foot prosthetic that made it look like her foot was swelling up and damaged somehow. And the director gets her into the back of this pickup truck, and the appliance is on the top of her foot.
Mm-hmm.
He puts her foot so it's laying this way.
Oh.
And totally covering the appliance. And I'm standing next to the straight makeup artist. And I said, that's the kind of thing that happens all the time, and it's maddening.
Yeah.
She said, what would Greg do if Greg was here with that? I said, Greg would go up and explain to the director why it needs to be the other way around. She says, well, you should do that. I went, you're right. So I went up and I just turned her foot over. I said, can we have her foot posed like this? Oh, yeah, that's great.
Especially if the director hasn't worked on a project that is like prosthetic heavy or like effect heavy. Maybe they just don't know, and until it's explained to them.
Well, they're thinking about everything else except what you're focused on.
Yeah.
That's your job,
yeah,
is to focus on that stuff. So it worked out well for that instance because all I had to do was, the director was great. He wanted to hear that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, if I just pose her, move her, left her upper body in the same position, so it didn't change any of the stuff they'd already shot.
Yeah.
And just turned her foot so it was up. And he said, oh, yeah, that's totally fine.
So this was just really mostly about season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Right.
We still have the other, we can do the 2, 3, 4, 5, and Fear the Walking Dead season 1.
That's right.
So lots to talk about, and also lots of movies to talk about as well with Andy's career. So thank you again for joining and talking with me about The Walking Dead.
My pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching and listening in. So every Monday on YouTube, we post a new episode, and that was also gets posted on Spotify if you prefer to listen. So yeah, thanks. Bye.